right, hello everybody. This is your host, Derek Lane, another edition of the Fast Lane Podcast for Success. Thanks again for joining me. I appreciate having you along. Today, let's talk a little bit about the imagination and what imagination, how that plays into our success path. Let's face it, without an imagination, we would just be kind of doing the same thing over and over and never really thinking about anything different. But I think imagination is what propels us to the future, propels us to our success path. Imagination is what heightens our creativity. If you can't imagine a better life, you won't aspire to a better life. If you can't imagine a better surrounding, a better world, a better community, a better relationship, or imagine the best relationship, even if you're in a great relationship, even if you are into your community and giving back, even if you are successful in your business, a successful entrepreneur, successful intrapreneur, whatever the case may be. If you cannot imagine going beyond where you are, then you truly are stuck. You know, the ability to imagine things pervades our entire existence. It influences everything we do. It's how we create. It leads to elaborate theories, dreams, inventions, in any profession, any realm of academia to engineering to the arts. Ultimately, imagination influences everything regardless of our profession. Everything we do, I should say. Okay. Here's one of my favorite quotes. The man who has no imagination has no wings. Muhammad Ali. Pretty good quote. I like to think so. So our imagination is kind of like the gym for our brain. It's where we get our workout. With the positive thoughts, the vibrations that we get, imagination is what spurs our creativity. It's what engages the human mind into going further. Once again, if you want to be something, be somebody more than you are, you have to assume the virtue. You have to assume you are. Imagine you in your perfect life, and then go about living your life as you've imagined it. It'll transform you. It'll transform your being, what you do, how you act, the words that you use, just your interaction. If you act as if you already are the person that you imagine. So it's a pretty powerful way to go ahead and set in motion the things that you want to do. Okay, imagination, it really is, just one of the top things you can do. Think for a moment about Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and how they use their imaginations to propel their self and change the world, by the way, with computers and smartphones. The ability to listen to this podcast was a result of someone's imagination to say, this is a way that voices can be heard that normally wouldn't be heard. So with my ability to go out and speak with people, give talks, communicate, consult, that's a lot of hard work. However, being able to provide a podcast allows me to reach more and more people. So that was the act of imagination that came to fruition. I would suggest to you that in your imagination, you start with your destination as far as your imagination. What do you want to achieve? The end game, as it were. Go ahead and apply the end game into your imagination. Have a clear vision of what you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it, and act as if you've already done that. Apply creative and empathetic imagination. What I mean by that, creative imagination together with empathetic imagination is a very powerful combination. If you look back at a lot of the leaders, most of them had a purpose, something bigger than what they wanted to achieve for themselves. Great leaders often have a passion that addresses the plight of people other than what they want for themselves. Again, the enhancement of everybody around you could be the experience of your vision, your imagination. even if they had hardships trying to achieve this. That's just part of the experience. You will get there. If you want something bad enough, strong enough, you will find a way. You will knock obstacles out of your way once you determine that you will have it. This will be who you are, what you want, and by all means, if it is without hurting others. And then imagine engaging other people into their ideas and sharing those ideas and those imaginations. Isn't that powerful in and of itself, to be able to take your imagination, to take your thoughts and feelings, and to transcribe it to others and have them share? And once again, I will tell you, only share with positive, upbeat people. I don't know how many times I've had to express to people, being stuck around naysayers will only get you negative feedback. Flying in a flock of eagles, you can soar higher than flying in a flock of turkeys. Okay? Don't let the turkeys bring you down. Soar with the eagles. Okay? People with light minds. If you look around at your experience, where you're at right now and what you're doing right now, you will find that your result, you are a magnificent result of the people around you, because the creative mindset around you is what's molding and shaping your brain every day. I think it was the last podcast I talked about 90% of your thoughts and creativities were the same ones as yesterday. So you're only really having 10% original thoughts every day. Don't you think that's a little low? Well, to get where you're going, and if you want to speed the process up, have new thoughts. Well, how do I have new thoughts? Well, that's where imagination comes in. When you take a look around and you see the things, you look at your computer and you see destinations, places you want to go, things that you want to have, things that you want to do, that feeds your imagination. But then you have to take it another step further. It's just that visual just says, I wish, doesn't get it. So when you start acting as if that you're the person in that place, you're the person doing the things, dressing that way, like again, speaking that way, your actions, everything culminates into what you do. Your outcome, your inward thoughts is your outward expressions, and vice versa. So be careful what you think. Be careful who you associate with. Yes, there are good people that have bad thoughts. You can't change everyone, nor is it your job to do that. All you can do is the same thing that I'm doing here. Offer suggestions. Offer an alternative way of thinking. Offer a mindset. Open your mind to challenges. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to be the best you can be every single day. Spur your imagination, your creativity, and the sky's the limit. So given that, let me quote Einstein. Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview for life's coming attractions. And that's just exactly what I've been talking about. You put everything into perspective, but you continually imagine things better and taking the steps to achieve your imagination. Also, Einstein said, reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. I love that one. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a persistent one. So your reality is the thing that you do over and over and over, everything that's around you, and you come to accept it. You come to accept where you are in life. You come to accept who you are. You come to accept your personality traits. You come to accept the mundane. You accept the good, the bad, the indifferent. It's all there. And that's what your reality does. It was once said that, what's the difference between perception and reality? Perception is harder to change. Think about that. Perception is harder to change. Once you get an idea ingrained into your brain, a thought in your mindset, and you start living it over and over and over, it's hard to change, because now you become, a believer in that perception, whether it's right or wrong. You ever consider that life itself is a perception? You ever consider for a moment that maybe time is not linear? Maybe time doesn't move forward. Maybe it moves from side to side. and then you have choices to make. It's just a thought. See, that kind of thinking opens up your mind. When you start to delve into the deeper meanings of life, the possibilities of life, the possibilities that are around you, you see the miracles that can unfold in your life. Okay, maybe that's a little deep. Didn't mean to get so deep with you. Well, with that, I think that we've kind of discussed this as far as understanding it, that your imagination is magical. Your imagination is what creates you, whether you're an artist or a musician that strikes a chord, if you will, that's so different than if you're playing and if you're a musician and you keep playing the same things over and over and over, wouldn't it be nice to play something different, play something new? If you're an artist, do you want to paint the same thing over and over and over? No. That's where your imagination and your creativity comes into play, and that's what makes you a more rounded person, a more sought-after person, a deeper thinker, someone that is respected, that your opinion is valued, and most importantly, when you start to, you create, within your imagination, you start to create things, that makes your life more enjoyable. That makes your life more enjoyable. And really, isn't that what we want? I mean, I know we all talk about money, the big houses, nice cars, whatever. But being able to fall asleep at night and have peace on your mind, a smile on your face, ready to get rested so you can jump up and meet the next day's challenges, willfully, wanting, yeah, that's a big part of it. Enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy what you do, it's time to start thinking about doing something different. You don't have to struggle. The universe will give you everything that you want if you just learn how to ask for it. If you learn how to accept it and let it be, let it come into your life and enjoy the surroundings of our universe and what it has for you. Be someone of knowledge that constantly learns history, whatever it is that you're fascinated by. Continually strive to be the best person you can. Let your imagination take you places you never thought possible. So once again, I'm going to wrap this up. And thanks for tuning in to the Fast Lane Podcast for Success. Gang, I appreciate it so much. More and more listeners, all over the world. It's fascinating to me to know that I've got listeners on every continent, dozens and dozens of countries, and I appreciate it so much. You guys can always reach me with any question about the podcast or any question. I don't give a hoot. I'll answer anything, and that's Derek at FastlanePodcast.com. Derek at FastlanePodcast.com. Subscribe, share, and like. Leave positive comments. Listen to me on iHeart, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, iTunes. And once again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.